Hello friends, welcome to today's daily devotion. I'm Kerry Wood at the Goldston Methodist Church. Today is the 4th of July. It's Independence Day. We are celebrating our country, but we're taking a couple of moments to explore something out of the 4th chapter of Romans on the 4th of July, and they so happen to be verses 4 through 8. And there's something for us in these 4 verses. Hear now these words. Now wages are regarded as due to the person who works, not as a favor, but as a debt. While as for the person who does not rely on their obedience, but has faith in him who can pronounce the godless righteous, their faith is regarded by God as righteousness. In precisely the same way, David speaks of the blessing pronounced on the person who is regarded by God as righteous apart from actions. Blessed are those whose wrongdoings have been forgiven and over whose sins a veil has been drawn. Blessed is the man whom the Lord will never regard as sinful. Here in the United States of America, as we celebrate our independence, one of the things that we should be thinking about is how can we as a nation live into the best of ourselves? And that then becomes a kind of a thing of we want to work to make our country the greatest that it can possibly be. But Paul is giving us a balance between what we do and what we are. And he uses the example of wages. He says a wage, this is something that you get for the work. You work, and as you work, you are incurring a debt from the employer to the employee that on payday, the employee gets what he has earned. That's what we call them earnings. These are something that are deserved, and there's a balance between what is done and then what is paid for what is done. And one of the things that here in the United States we need to work towards is to make sure we aren't doing what's known as wage discrimination, where people are not being paid what they deserve to be paid for the work that they've done. This is all a good thing, but it is not faith. Faith is something apart from earnings and wages. Faith is accepting an understanding that has no rationale. The if-then-else logic of works, it's not part of faith. So faith can be understood through 3 statements. Actually, it's one statement, but with an emphasis on 3 different words. Faith is believing God will pronounce righteousness. Faith is believing God will pronounce righteousness. Faith is believing God will pronounce righteousness. All 3 of those emphases are on God and His pronouncing, His willingness and ability to pronounce us made right with Him. This is something that is done by grace alone. God chooses to declare righteousness. There's nothing that we can do as a wage to earn that righteousness. It's His will. It's His action. We are blessed because God chooses the blessing. Why? I don't know. It is just part of the experience of God that I believe God chooses to bless me in this way. How does God do it? I don't know that either. I know it is through Jesus Christ and my faith in Him, but the dynamics, the ramifications, the this then else aspect of it, I don't get it. But I don't have to. I don't need to know the whys. I don't need to know the hows. I just simply have to believe that God is, God does. The United States is founded on something similar. We believe that we can be an expression of what it is to be the best in a democratic, free society. Sometimes we do it well, sometimes we don't. but all of us want to try. But trying isn't enough. Believing is even more important than trying. And we'll unpack more of what that means in our next daily devotion.